Our first port of call was Skagway. Located at the northern end of Alaska's Inside Passage, the economy of this small borough of 920 residents is buoyed by the over 400 cruise ships and 90,000 tourists who visit each summer. Over a century ago, however, Skagway's economy was fueled by a different type of tourist. During the gold rush of 1897 and 1898, over 40,000 men and women descended upon Skagway to begin the 500-mile trek to the Yukon gold fields. Some, realizing how difficult the trek to the goldfields could be, decided to stay behind in Skagway to supply goods and services for the arriving prospectors. Within weeks, stores, saloons, and offices lined the muddy streets of Skagway. Today, many of those same buildings still exist along the 7-block main street known as Broadway. Instead of the implements and provisions that a prospector would have found here during the gold rush, however, today's stores are filled with t-shirts, souvenirs, and jewelry to satisfy the shopping urges of tourists. But even if shopping isn't your cup of tea, it's still worth the time to visit some of the unique landmarks in Skagway's commercial district. The Golden North Hotel was one of the popular hotels during the gold rush era. Its large dome was constructed to show visitors where the building was located. The Red Onion Saloon served as a saloon, dance hall, and bordello. Inside, little has changed over the past century, with the exception that the saloon's working girls now only give tours of the upstairs bordello instead of providing their services to the gentlemen visitors. Perhaps the most photographed building in all of Alaska is the Arctic Brotherhood Building. The facade of the building is covered with over 8,000 driftwood sticks collected from the shores of Skagway Bay. And many tourists hitch a ride on the famous White Pass and Yukon Railroad, a scenic train ride that closely follows the original Klondike Trail. During our visit, however, we booked a tour with Alaska Excursions to visit a dog musher's camp. Dog sledding races are Alaska's state sport, and no race is better known than the Iditarod, which literally stretches from one end of Alaska to the other. In early March, mushers and their team of 16 dogs set out from Anchorage, Alaska along the 1,000-mile-long trail. Despite the fact that the race pits man and animal against nature as they endure sub-zero temperatures, blizzard conditions, and treacherous mountain climbs, most cross the finish line in Nome in about 9 to 15 days. Our trip to the camp took us out of town and along the beautiful Dyea Inlet. Our destination? Dyea, home to a summer training camp for sled dogs. There, we boarded a Unimog for an exciting ride up a rugged mountain road. At the top, we met up with a team of excited sled dogs who were ready to whisk us off on a wheeled sled through the Tongass National Rainforest. After our trip, we got the chance to meet our furry chauffeurs. The staff encourages their visitors to play with the dogs because it provides important socialization skills that are essential to their racing success. It also allows for some free time for the staff to get in a little good-natured mischief as well. On our way back down the mountain, we stopped at an overlook for a breathtaking view of the Dyea tidal flats. Before leaving the camp, we sat in on a kennel talk that gave us some insight on the sport of dog sledding and a chance to meet the next generation of sled dogs. So, After a fun-filled day in Skagway, it was time to board our ship and set off on our next adventure.